If you eat healthy most of the time, then your body weight should be changing. If you need to lose weight or if you want to change your body composition, it should be changing. Even if your training is piss poor, it should be changing. What's going on, guys? It's Coach Grant here, and I am on the podcast today. I'm going to go into a bit of a Grant rant with something that seemingly myself, Sean, my business partner at Kettlebell Sean, my team and I talk about a lot because we talk to a lot of guys every month. And to give you all listening to this context around why I'm going to go into this Grant rant, we talk to a lot of guys every month. Like it's October 1st today, and I just look back at our stats, and in the month of September, we had over 2,000 applications submitted for kettlebell transformation, 2,069 apps to be exact. And we had right around 550 booked calls, meaning 550 guys actually went through the process and booked a call after they submitted an application. And so I give you this context to say that, like, in the month of September, we were reaching out and trying to communicate with over 2,000 guys that submitted applications for our program at KT. And one level deeper was over 550 guys who actually booked calls to talk to us about the program. And so we talk to a lot of guys, and we communicate with a lot of guys. So a lot of men come to KT with their own version of their own health goals, their own fitness goals, their own version of why those goals are important to them, why they have struggled to achieve those goals on their own. A lot of guys come to us with a lot of different goals, right? Some guys want to lose 10 to 20 pounds. Some guys want to lose 5 to 10% body fat. Some guys want to drop 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 plus pounds. But I'm going to tell you this. This is what the Grant Rant is going to be about. I cannot tell you the number of guys that I have talked to who tell me that they want to lose weight, that they want to objectively change their body composition in some way, shape, or form. Meaning, I would assume what that means is that they look in the mirror and they see a body that they want to change, just objectively. We take all of our emotions out of it. They objectively want to lose fat. I cannot tell you the number of guys who come to us, tell us that they want to lose weight, and then in the process of talking to me about what has been missing, why haven't they lost the weight, what has been going wrong, they tell me that they, quote unquote, eat healthy most of the time. Oh, boy, this is one of my biggest, I don't even know if it's a pet peeve. It's one of my biggest, I don't even know the word for it. Annoyance, maybe? I don't know if annoyance is the right word, though, because listen, I understand. I can almost understand exactly why that happens, why guys say that, why guys who are, let's say you're 6 foot, 200 and 260 pounds, where you objectively can look at it and say, okay, I have 40 to 60 pounds that I need to lose to get to sub 200, which would be an objectively healthy weight for me. And then you say, yeah, but I eat healthy most of the time. I can see how that is it's something to protect ourselves, right? It protects our own ego. It gives us this out of like, yeah, but I eat healthy most of the time, so I don't know exactly why I'm 50 pounds overweight. But I think that the number one thing, I've said this in podcasts before, the number one thing that you have to be willing to do if you actually want to see objective changes, and I mean real changes, like lose 20% body fat, lose 50 plus pounds, get to a point where you feel like you can maintain that. The number one thing that you have to be willing to do is tell yourself the truth. I've said that in multiple podcasts before. The reality is that if you objectively have 20, 30, 40, 50 plus pounds of body fat on your frame, objectively, that you know you could lose, it is impossible for you to be eating healthy most of the time. It's impossible. It doesn't work like that. You don't eat healthy most of the time and be 50 pounds overweight. It's not reality. And I'm saying this because you have to be able to accept that, like, I am not doing what I need to be doing in order to truly see the results and changes that I want to see. Now, I can empathize with you and empathize with the understanding of, like, we may say that to protect ourselves, protect our ego, we may say that to make us feel a little bit better, because guess what? This stuff is hard. Guess what? Training consistently, eating healthy consistently, walking consistently, getting enough sleep, managing your stress, showing up and being a dad and being a husband and being someone who crushes it in your career and managing your health at the same time, all of that stuff is really hard. And so I can understand why we would want to try to protect ourselves and give ourselves I eat healthy most of the time, like this kind of excuse as to why why we aren't where we want to be. But at the same time, the only way to the goal is through. Like the only way to the promised land is through. And that has to start with telling yourself the truth, telling yourself the ability is like, I don't eat healthy most of the time. And if you want to let's put math around this. So I'll give you an example here. Inside of our program, inside of Kettlebell Transformation, when guys come in, we do guaranteed results. We do contractual guaranteed results. Now, part of the contract when guys come into KT is that guys have to follow the nutrition plan that we personalize and lay out for them at least 90% of the time, because that is eating healthy most of the time. 90% of the time or more, you have to be on the nutrition plan, because that is our definition of eating healthy most of the time. Now, let's put it into perspective. That means that, like, let's just say hypothetically, you have 3 meals a day and you have 2 snacks a day. So that's 5 different food choices, just in a hypothetical scenario. That's 5 different food choices that you make every single day, every day of the week, 7 days of the week, which means you have 5 times 7, 35 food choices that you have to make every single week, 35 of them, which means that if you're eating healthy most of the time, that means that you can only be off track or not eating healthy 3.5 meals, 10%, 3.5 meals, which means that 32 of those meals and snacks have to be eating healthy, which would mean that you have a balanced meal of proteins, carbs, fats. You'd have to understand what of those macronutrients need to be more, need to be less based on you and your body type and your specific goals and your body composition change that you're after, and all of the different factors that go into it. That, like, this stuff is not necessarily easy, because if it was easy, literally we would not have an obesity or overweight epidemic in the United States. This stuff is obviously not easy because a lot of people struggle with their weight. But this is the reality. This is like you have to be able to understand and look at this stuff and be able to look and be like, okay, if I want to achieve XYZ, if I want to lose 50 pounds, well, then what's the standard that I actually have to hold myself to? And if it's eating healthy most of the time, well, guess what? That means that you are on track 90% of the time, which means that over the course of an entire week, 5 different meal choices, snack choices a day, 35 different choices a week, you got to be on it for 32 of them. You got to be on it for 31 of them. 31 out of 35. And I would venture to guess that if I were to objectively look at every single piece of food that you put in your mouth from a guy who tells me I eat healthy most of the time, if I look back at the last 7 days and look at every little piece of food and drink that you put in your mouth, would it be 31 out of 35? Would it be 90% of the food and the drink that you put in your mouth is actually, quote unquote, healthy, as in it matches your desired outcome? It matches the action that is needed for you to hit the outcome that you have. And so I say all this, I'm making this podcast. Some of you guys might not like this. Some of you guys might listen to this and be like, oh, screw you, Grant. You don't know my life. You don't know how busy things are for me. You don't know how hard it is for me to get the right food. I travel a lot. I eat out a lot. You don't get how hard it is. Well, guess what? That might be true. That might be true. And I might not have enough empathy for that specific situation, that specific individual, and I can give you that. But at the end of the day, your standards, the standards that you need to hit in order for you to achieve the outcome that you want, those don't magically change because your life is busy. There's no leeway because you are, quote unquote, busier than someone who, say, they work from home, they're at home at all times, they have easier control over their meals, they never travel, they don't have kids. The standards are the same for both of you if you both have the same exact goal that you're trying to achieve, meaning these are the things you have to do. Your actions are going to look a little different. That's why when guys come into KT, we have to customize things for guys who travel. We have to work through guys with different lifestyles. We have to figure out, how do we manage going out to eat, having to grab things on the go, having to be in airports a lot, having to be traveling and driving a lot. We have to help guys put together game plans based around their lifestyles, because it's not going to be the same, but the standards are the same. The percentage with which you have to be on track and eating healthy and training consistently, all of those things are the same. And so whether you don't like me saying this or not, that's okay. That's no worries. But at least I'm telling you the truth, because you can go find a trainer or find a coach or find someone, a friend who's going to give you a pass. But if you don't lose weight for the next 6 months, if you still stay stuck for the next 12 months, how much is that helping you? How much is giving yourself the pass of things are hard for me? How much is that helping you? Because that's the other thing that we do at KT, which is tell guys the truth and give them the level of coaching and honesty and an understanding of clarity around the standards that you need to execute and you need to uphold in your individual life in order for you to achieve the outcome and the goals that you told us were important enough to you in the beginning. That's what we do. And that's what you should be invested into if you really need help achieving the goals that you want to achieve. But what I would hope for any guy listening to this, if you've ever said that to yourself, I eat healthy most of the time. Well, listen, dude, if you eat healthy most of the time, then your body weight should be changing. If you need to lose weight or if you want to change your body composition, it should be changing. Even if your training is piss poor, it should be changing. That's just the way it is. There's not a lot of guys who just like can eat healthy most of the time and they maintain being overweight when they eat healthy food in the right quantities most of the time. That just doesn't happen. It's not reality. And so I hope that if you are listening to this and if you have objective goals like that, that this can be a nudge in the direction of, okay, well, I need to potentially change some things if I want to change things. Now, here's the caveat. If you don't want to change anything about your weight, this shouldn't even be the podcast you're listening to. If you don't want to change your body composition, if you don't want to change your weight, if you don't really care about that, then that's okay. Then I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. Like, if you don't care about it, then you should not get upset about me talking about this because this does not pertain to you. But the reason I bring this up, and the reason I bring this up as a Grant rant, the reason I have such intensity in the tonality of my voice is that we had 2,000 men submit applications for this program, which means that they saw an ad or they saw our website or they got an email from us or they saw us on Instagram and they saw that our program was speaking to guys who we help guys who objectively want to lose weight, want to get strong, want to train with kettlebells, want to not have to go to the gym, and want a system that they can get those results and then sustain them for life. So they saw that and they raised their hand that I am in some way, shape, or form looking for a solution to those things. Over 2,000 men submitted applications for that. And so the guys who raise their hand that they truly want to change, this message is for those guys. You have to be able to give yourself honesty and objectivity around what does it actually mean to eat healthy most of the time. Because I promise you, if you do that, if you do eat healthy most of the time, 90% of the time or more, you will see change. Your body composition, your weight will change in some way, shape, or form. So with that being said, I hope that this doesn't piss off too many guys. My intention is not to piss you off or make you upset or to have you feel defensive at me and the words that I'm saying. My hope is that it allows you to sit back and open your eyes and say, and open your ears and be like, okay, what about this might be true for me? What about this message might be true for me? What might I objectively need to spend a little more time focusing on, spend a little more time having awareness on? Or what might I need to actually get some help around if I have goals that I deem to be important enough to me that I actually want to change my actions in some way, shape, or form in order to achieve them? So I hope that that's how this lands. You got to understand what it means to eat healthy most of the time. And I promise you, if you actually do that, you'll see body comp change. You add training to it, you add getting stronger, you add slinging bells 4 days a week like our guys, well then those results will come a lot more rapid. Like our guys, they'll lose 30 plus pounds in less than 6 months. Some guys in 4 months. So that stuff comes a little more rapidly when you add the other factors of training and walking and all the other stuff, getting enough sleep, etc. But your nutrition is obviously a huge part of it. It's why they say abs are made in the kitchen. It's why they say you can't out-train a bad diet. All that stuff is true. So with that being said, Grant ran over. I'm not going to belabor the point. I say all this, hopefully just one person listening to this, I hope it cuts to the core for you and it inspires you to take different action, because I believe that everybody's life would be better if they actually had the health that they wanted. And I believe that every man's life would be better if they actually had the body that they wanted, whether they want to admit that or not. I believe that most guys, at least every guy that we talk to, they objectively want to change their body in some way, shape, or form because it would make them feel better about themselves. And it doesn't, like, your value as a man has nothing to do with your body, but you live in this physical body. And if it would make you feel better to change it, then I believe that you should change it. It's your choice. That's your choice. You deem it important enough or not important enough to you for all the other factors as to reasons why. So if you want to change it, I hope that this inspires you to be like, okay, what do I need to objectively change? All right. With that being said, if you haven't gone back, any guys listening to this who are interested in KT or just following us, and you haven't listened to our client interviews recently, we did a couple of awesome, badass client interviews recently, and we're doing more and more of those consistently coming down the pipeline here. So I'm very excited for those. KT is in a very exciting spot right now. We're growing as a business, and as I kind of view KT as this organism in and of itself that is here. The only reason it's here is to help as many men as possible. And we are growing and we are accomplishing that mission. And it is a very exciting time for KT right now. So with that being said, I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your week, a very strong week. Crush your bells. And if you need help, you can find us on Instagram at Kettlebell Sean, at Kettlebell Grant, Kettlebell Transformations Instagram. All of my coaches are posting on there consistently. With that being said, hope you guys have a great week, and I'll see you guys in the next pod. Bye.